Thank you, Jean-Luc, and thank you for the organisers as well for this opportunity to visit Portugal. This is the first time I've ever set foot in the country, and I hope it won't be the last. So my task today is to give you an overview of some of the work that's been going on around the world, looking at the development of new fibre technology for optical communications. And as Jean-Luc has said, I'm based at the University of Southampton in the UK at the Optoelectronics Research Centre. So just before I launch into the technical discussion, I'd just like to acknowledge the large team of co-workers I have working with me at Southampton that have contributed to this work and my broader understanding of the field. And I'd also like to acknowledge various of the funding agencies that have kindly donated money to our cause over the last 5 or 6 years. In particular, the EU through large programs such as ModeGap and Safari, and the UK EPSRC for a very large program called the Photonic Hyperhighway. So I thought I would begin by just giving you an overview of some of the challenges that are facing optical communications and that have prompted this large amount of activity in the last 6 or so years. So firstly, this graph on the left charts as a function of year the traffic demand on the optical fibre networks around the world. And the key point to take from this is that we're looking at sustained growth year on year of about 40%. And if you track this back, this goes back over many, many years, right to the very earliest days of optical communications. So we have an unrelenting demand for increasing data traffic at this 40 to 50% per annum. The next problem facing communications is one of cost. And here, again, as a function of year, we have the revenues of some of the largest operators in telecoms in the US, so in particular AT&T and Verizon. And what you can see is that their revenues are flat as a function of year, but at the same time, we've plotted on here this annual growth in traffic. They're expected to deliver 40% per annum more bits year on year. So effectively, this means that we need to decrease the average cost per transmitted bit year on year, and this is putting a huge demand on these operators. You know, how do they develop this new technology that can deliver this increased capacity year on year? And then finally, in this chart here, we plot as a function of year the capacity of a single strand of optical fibre, of single-mode optical fibre. And again, from this chart, you can see the sustained year-on-year growth of about 40%, a factor of 10 every 4 years, that dates back really right to the very earliest days of fibre technology, through the demonstration of the EDF